He was 23, working 2 exhausting jobs, barely keeping his mother's cancer treatments afloat. One Tuesday night, completely drained, he did one simple thing that took less than 10 seconds. He gave up his seat for an old lady. What she did next would either ruin his life or completely transform it. This is the true story of Jaden, and the secret test that changed everything. Jaden lived in a mid-sized city in the Midwest. He ran a machine at a manufacturing plant from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., then cleaned offices until 9 or 10 most nights. He wasn't chasing dreams. He was trying to survive. His mother had been diagnosed with chronic lymphocytic leukemia, CLL, 2 years earlier. The treatments were expensive, the bills were crushing, and Jaden carried it all in silence. He never complained at work. That Tuesday, his supervisor publicly blamed him for a machine failure that maintenance logs later proved wasn't his fault. Jaden took the humiliation, clocked out, and dragged himself to the 7:40 bus. His feet throbbed. He found a seat near the back, closed his eyes, and allowed himself one quiet moment where nobody needed anything from him. 3 stops later, the doors opened. He heard the slow, careful shuffle before he even opened his eyes. When he looked up, he saw her, a small 69-year-old woman in a gray coat and pale blue scarf. She gripped the rail, clearly in pain from advanced osteoporosis. The bus was full, yet nobody moved. Several younger passengers suddenly became very interested in their phones. Jaden didn't hesitate. He stood up. "Ma'am, please, take my seat." She looked at him longer than felt normal, not just grateful, studying him. Then she gave a small nod and accepted the seat. Jaden stood the rest of the ride, holding the overhead rail. As his stop approached, he moved toward the front. Just as the doors opened, he felt a small, dry hand slip something into his jacket pocket. He turned, but she was already looking away. The bus pulled off into the night. Under the next streetlight, Jaden unfolded the paper. One side, 5 Queens Park. Other side, 88687. He stood there confused. Who does this? That night he barely slept. Was it a scam? A mistake? The next few days he took the same bus morning and evening, hoping to see her again. She never appeared. 9 days later, on his first day off, curiosity won. He took the 35-minute bus ride to the quiet tree-lined neighborhood and found himself standing in front of a beautiful Edwardian estate behind wrought iron gates. He noticed the keypad. After hesitating for nearly a minute, he typed in the 5 numbers. 2351. The gate clicked open. The front door of the house was already ajar. She sat in a sunlit room, both hands folded in her lap, smiling like a teacher whose favorite student had finally shown up. "I've been riding that same bus route for 5 weeks, she told him plainly. 14 people had the chance to give me their seat. Only 3 actually did. You're the only one who did it without hesitation when you were clearly exhausted." She explained her situation with brutal honesty. Advanced osteoporosis and early-stage heart failure meant she could no longer live alone safely. She had tried agencies and private caregivers, 7 in 5 years. Some stole from her. Others simply stopped showing up. "I learned to stop trusting words," she said. "I look for who a person is when they think no one important is watching." That tired young man on the bus had passed her final test. She offered him a full-time, live-in caretaker position. Room, board, and a salary 6 times what he was currently earning across both jobs. Jaden sat in silence for a long moment, processing everything. Then he said quietly, "I'm in." Leaving his old jobs was easier than he expected. For the first time in years, Jaden felt he was exactly where he was supposed to be. Living with Jasmine was nothing like he imagined. She was sharp, witty, and sometimes brutally honest. She had quietly built a substantial investment portfolio over 4 decades, while living modestly. Their days developed a rhythm. Every evening they listened to jazz on vinyl, Coltrane, Miles Davis, Nina Simone. Jasmine taught him how to read financial statements at the kitchen table while Kind of Blue played in the background. She made him practice speaking with a proper British accent while making tea, then laughed without mercy when he failed. One night she pulled out a chessboard. She destroyed him the first 12 times. On the 13th game, he almost beat her. You just never had the space to use it. Jaden cooked for her every day, including her favorite Scotch eggs with a perfectly soft-boiled center. He attended every doctor's appointment, learned her medications, and helped her with physiotherapy exercises. For the first time since his mother got sick, he felt useful in a way that didn't break him. Their bond grew slowly, naturally, from caretaker and patient into something closer to grandmother and grandson. They laughed often. They argued about cricket. They sat in comfortable silence. 8 months in, Jasmine's heart condition worsened. Jaden found her struggling to breathe one morning and immediately called emergency services. She was stabilized in hospital, but recovery was slower than anyone wanted to admit. 3 weeks after she returned home, disaster struck at 2:17 a.m. Jaden woke to the sound of breaking glass. Then Jasmine screamed. He ran into her room to find a masked intruder holding a knife, demanding cash and jewelry. The man had scaled the back wall after noticing the gate had accidentally been left open earlier that evening. What happened next was pure instinct. He disarmed the intruder, but not before the man slashed him deeply across his side. The intruder fled. Jaden collapsed, bleeding heavily. He spent 4 days in the hospital. Jasmine sat beside his bed every single day, navigating the corridors with her cane, bringing a thermos of properly made tea. She held his hand when he woke from surgery. "You didn't have to do that," he whispered. "Neither did you," she replied, eyes wet. That terrifying night solidified something in Jasmine. 2 weeks later, she quietly updated her will. She told no one at the time. 14 weeks after the break-in, on a quiet Sunday evening in October, Jasmine passed away peacefully with Jaden holding her hand. Her last words to him were, "You saw me when I was invisible. Thank you for that." The grief hit Jaden harder than he expected. He didn't rush it. He walked through the big empty house remembering her laugh, her terrible chest trash talking, and the smell of Scotch eggs on Sunday mornings. 11 days after the funeral, 3 solicitors arrived. They read Jasmine's updated will, revised after the night he protected her. She had left him everything: the estate, her investment portfolio, and shares that brought the total value into the high 7 figures. Jaden sat at the kitchen table for over an hour in complete silence, staring at the wall. Jaden immediately paid for his mother's ongoing cancer treatment. The best specialists and medications gave her years of quality time she otherwise wouldn't have had. As of this telling, she remained stable and grateful. He also created the Jasmine Foundation, an organization that funds professional, dignified in-home care for elderly people who cannot afford it. It now operates in 3 cities. To this day, every Sunday morning, Jaden still makes Scotch eggs, soft-boiled center, just the way she liked them. Jaden was just a tired 23-year-old who gave up his seat on a bus. He didn't do it for reward. He didn't do it because anyone was watching. He did it because it was the decent thing to do. And that small, decent act proved to be the greatest investment of his life. The greatest investments most of us will ever make cost nothing, except the willingness to truly see another human being. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it right now. And if you're carrying something heavy in silence the way Jaden once was, I hope this reminds you that everything can change, sometimes through the smallest act of kindness.